Thanks for tuning into the Pre-Patch Podcast. Check out these patch notes. Apparently, so this is one thing that caught my attention kind of right off the bat whenever I noticed it. And I know me and Bill are probably going to have a little bit of a tit for tat on this one because I think I've got different opinions. I don't know. I could be wrong on that.
We'll see how
We'll
it
see.
goes.
The new PS5's optional disc drive, not dick drive. I about said dick drive.
Wow.
Disc drive.
Okay. Now I'm interested in
That's
this.
an entirely
Okay, I wasn't
different
prepared.
drive for you.
PS5 at this point.
Yeah.
The PS5's optional disc drive requires an internet connection to connect, which I found
Wait,
to be
what?
very interesting considering we were literally just on a tangent
What?
the other week about PlayStation being like the saviors of
So what are you gonna do if
physical
you just want to
copies,
play
right?
like some Red Dead Online or Red Dead Redemption, like just
Yeah.
like
So
a single player game?
from what I can understand, and correct me if I'm wrong on here, Bill, from what I understand,
it's
it's just the
setup.
first initial setup. Yeah. So like if you're plugging it in
Oh.
and you just barely bought
Okay.
it requires an authentication the first time you plug it in. So that is a saving
Okay.
grace for it. But on the other hand, I'm looking at it like,
Oh, I
why the
took that,
fuck?
like-
Why the fuck does a disk drive need that? There shouldn't be a requirement for that.
There
That seems
needs to
really
be
weird.
If it's like an update or something, or
Yeah, that's my thoughts because the controllers come with updates as well that require
Yeah.
internet connection. It's something that I feel like they're not going to ship the consoles with that hard drive space occupied that would be needed to run the disk drive. So they probably need to
Right.
download the software to properly run the disk drive. They need to authenticate it, like you were saying, and all that should be a one and done situation.
It's just so
As well
weird,
as-
you know, man.
This is not the. You don't have to do anything if you buy the PS5
So
Slim
my
that
my
has
question
the disk
though.
drive already installed.
So my question though is like, okay, like 5-6 years down the road, right? It's
Right.
maybe longer, right? Whenever they stop support for the PlayStation 5, right? Your little
Fair.
Timmy, your little Timmy in the year 2031, his parents are the Jetsons and they just bought him some retro PS5, right? And they're like, okay, little Timmy, go and
Right.
fucking play God of War, 5 or whatever on the PlayStation,
Yeah.
What happens if like down the road you buy one of those and it hasn't been verified, right? Like the PlayStation 5 has not verified that disk drive, but they've shut down the systems to verify that.
Yeah.
I guess
mean,
it's a big if, but I mean,
the
I
fact
don't
that
know.
there's still a physical console available. If you have any inklings of wanting a disc drive, just get the physical console because it's going to be cheaper for you in the long run than getting the digital and then being like, oh well, I really did want that disc drive. Let
Yeah.
me just pay
Well,
Sony extra money.
I
Yeah.
agree. I agree with you on the part, and I agree with Sin on the part where it's like if you're worried about physical media, just buy a regular PlayStation 5. But the fact of the matter is that, like, again, if we're like 10, 15, 10 years down the road, and that's all you can find, right? Obviously, you're
Right.
going to be able to find those kinds of things, I'm sure, from everywhere. But like, if that is all you can find, you're done. Like there's nothing you can do about that, right? Like there's no way that you can get that if they shut down those servers. And we've talked about this in the past where it's like
Are you
with,
like
yeah.
foreseeing the future of like console apocalypse or something?
maybe,
Like,
man.
what is happening?
You
in the
never
future
know,
that-
man. I'm getting my Nostradamus on, I'm
My
channeling my
mindset on
inner
all is,
Simpson
though-
episodes,
Enigma is secretly a Mayan, I think, and he's got the sundial out. He's
My
Say
mindset
what?
on it all is if you were dumb enough to buy and I am saying dumb because I think this is idiotic that you would
No,
buy
I
a digital
agree.
console
Yeah.
right
Get
now.
him. Yeah.
If you were dumb enough to buy the digital only console and expect support for that console to stay forever, that's on you and you deserve whatever shortcomings come of that. Get the disc drive version.
No,
if
I
you
agree.
have
Get the
any
disk drive.
concerns over digital like lifespan, that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
If you're
no, I agree.
concerned that things are going to shut
Yeah.
down, if you're concerned that you're not going to have access to the disk drive software or your gaming library, get physical, buy it that way.
Ooh,
Get physical. Yeah.
Physical.
So is getting real.
The other thing that I saw on here, and I was literally just reading about this, and this didn't come to mind either, is like, okay, there people are thinking this might also be a security measure in order to ensure that the disc is a legitimate one, not a third party one as well. What do you think about that? Do you think that's possible?
It very well could be, and it wouldn't
that wouldn't surprise me at all. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all from Sony, which is just kind of one of those things where it's like that feels like an asinine thing to me, and really an asshole move to me if that's the case too, because like you shouldn't offer the ability for module stuff like that and then take it away or lock it behind.
Not allow third party developers
do what fucking Apple
modularity.
does, right? Like Apple is notorious for that kind of bullshit when it comes to this kind of stuff, right?
Sony is kind of the Apple
Sony is
game.
too. Yeah.
I wonder how far Sony's going to take these like detachable parts and whatnot with PlayStations. Like eventually we're just going to
maybe there will be a disk drive later on, bro. You never know. Detachable disk drives.
Maybe, bro.
One thing that is being brought up in the chat though, and I don't know if we covered it 100%, with the slim models being announced and stuff.
I don't think we did.
What are your guys' opinions on these slim models in general? Like, do you think this is like good? I know PlayStation has always done a slim variant of their consoles moving forward, but PS5 and like this generation of console
what's
been a lot slower paced as far as
what's the price gap
goes.
on the slim and normal?
I don't think there's a ton, is there? I thought it was pretty close to the same price.
I thought it was pretty close.
Well, we covered it. We covered it last week, right? And I know that Sin said that he really liked the slim, but I'm curious if that was more along the lines of like he liked the look of it. To me, like it felt like it was not. They are the same price.
So
okay.
PS5 is $500.
Yeah.
Like for the physical normal PS5.
And then I think I think the slim is $499.
From what Sin is saying.
Yeah. Right. I think the slim is $499. So
my
500. I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. My opinion on it.
I've got a PS5. I'm
exactly.
not upgrading to a slim. I'm going to wait for the Pro to come out.
That's what I was going to say. Is my opinion on it is if you have a PS5, there is literally no reason to buy a PS5 Slim other than that you want the different look, right? Like that would be the only reason to go with it, and that's a dumb reason why you would pay $500 for less plastic. That makes no fucking sense to me.
But I will say, I mean, the normal PlayStation 5 is a chunky mother. It's a big boy.
But on the other hand, I have to wonder if having that big of a case is actually better for you for cooling.
Very well could be. I mean, we haven't really seen these come out yet, and see really how well they do.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know that some PlayStations have had overheating problems. Yeah.
Yeah. So Sony's very notorious for that. So that could be something that happens. I don't know.
Yeah, that's my opinion on it. It's like if you already have it,
your guys' opinion too. Again,
if you already have it, there's no reason for it.
There's no differences in the specs, right? Like if I'm not mistaken, it's pretty much.
Other than one doesn't have
what you're getting.
One doesn't have a physical drive that you know.
The only difference is the hard drive space is a little bit bigger on these slim models.
Which is understandable.
Again,
you're not going to buy a whole new console. You would just expand your hard drive space.
So I'm curious if that affects. Does it still have the SSD that Sony's always fucking around with?
It has all.
Okay.
It better.
It has all the tech that the base PS5 has.
So yeah, that's a little bit bigger. I think I'm going to stick with that opinion. Is like if you already have it, there's no reason to buy it. But if you don't,
I don't know.
Might be a good idea to grab it.
It might be just for that extra space. If you're looking to get a PlayStation 5, I should say, right? Like if you're looking to get a PlayStation 5, and that is the decision that you have to choose between. Maybe again going back to the physical the physical arguments that we had just barely, or the physical discussion that we had. Like maybe look at the fact that if you have a problem with physical versus digital, and then base your decisions off of that. You know. Probably if you like physical discs, maybe go with the regular, because then you don't have to deal with the bullshit with the online updates. Just know what you're getting. Just know what you're getting. Like if you don't want physical at all, then get it without.
If you wanna license all of your games, just go digital and then cry whenever they take them away.
Thank you for checking out the patch notes. If you enjoyed this small selection from our podcast, come and join us every other Thursday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern for the full, unfiltered pre-patch podcast. And make sure you check out all of our past shows on anchor.fm/prepatchpodcast.